Mic test, check 1 2.
Morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Prairie View Cricket Complex in Prairie View, Texas, for a continuation of the DAFA News Open or Houston Open 2023. Here for a matchup between the Houston Stars and the Kingsmen. This is Brian Walters. I'm happy to be joined by somebody who I'm sure everybody listening right now has clothes in their locker or in their closet who's old that are older than this young man, Mr. Matthew Chaibar. Morning, Matthew.
Good morning to you, Brian. Hot day at Prairie View. We've come to expect nothing less, though, haven't we?
Welcome back to Texas.
Welcome back to Texas, indeed. Hasn't been a great start being from New York. Used to the cooler weather. Not a fan of absolute 100-degree blistering heat, but here we go.
Look.
Should be a great game, this, though. Houston Stars, Kingsmen. You look at the Kingsmen franchise, it's gone all across the country, playing in various leagues across the United States, and, well, it's just been success. Wherever Kingsmen go, success follows. And the Houston Stars will be looking to bounce back. They'll be looking to get a win. It's been a quite difficult start to life in the Houston Open for them in 2023. Should be a very interesting game, this.
Certainly an interesting game. So a few modifications, Matt, from the last time that we were here. First of all, we missed all of yesterday because bad weather here in the Prairie View area meant that there was no cricket played yesterday. And so in order to compress the remainder of the tournament into the appropriate time, into the time we have available, we've decided to play 15-over matches. So this is a 15-over match, not a T20. The difference there obviously being that the power play overs are also reduced. So power play is going to be overs 1 through 5 instead of 1 through 6, 15-over matches, and we've actually managed to squeeze, Matt, 3 matches per day into this tournament. That's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy, but as you mentioned, the reduction of overs definitely playing a part. Was very unfortunate, the circumstances yesterday not allowing for play, even though the sun was out. There wasn't any rain yesterday, but just the aftermath of what had happened the night before. Looking to bounce back, looking to recover the lost games and the lost time. So, yeah, 3 games. The days are long in the summer, especially at, 9:15 in the morning. With 3 15-over games, everything should still run quite smoothly.
From a time standpoint, I don't think there's any issue. I heard the umpires, by the way, are umpires today. 2 very experienced, capable umpires, Jermaine Lindo. Everyone who is listening to this knows one of the most experienced umpires, not only in the U.S., but one of those who has an eye on international duty. And Jermaine Lindo and Sandeep Gonda. So that's slightly pushing things a little bit, but these are professional cricketers, and I think they should be able to get it done.
Yeah, for sure. At a level like this, you'd want to have a good track of time. Thankfully, we've got experienced players and 2 very good umpires out in the middle, as you mentioned. One thing about today's modern game has always been about time. As of late, you saw the new rules made by the ICC regarding over rate and the penalties required for slow over rate, as we are all set and ready for the start here between Houston Stars and Kingsmen.
All set and ready. Samin Gul with the new ball in hand. Here we go. Oh, good delivery. Full Yorker length. Just defended into the offside. The batters for the Houston Stars, and by the way, the Kingsmen won the toss and decided to bowl. So the batters for the Houston Stars, Usman Khan and Ali Rana. And you would have seen probably both those guys a little bit. What do you know about them?
Well, two capable batters out in the middle. It's a very capable Houston Stars lineup as a whole. It's been surprising to see the way they've started this tournament. But as I mentioned about the Kingsmen franchise, oh, look at the Kingsmen franchises. They're just so difficult to beat. And Samin Gul already in just a couple of deliveries has shown what a capable bowler he is. So off to a good start here for the Kingsmen. That one shorter, going through to the keeper. And on a surface like this, as a wicket keeper, how do you think in terms of the bounce? How clean do you think the bounce will be on a surface like this?
Well, that is the first thing I took note of. That ball was just short of a length, and it was collected by wicketkeeper Ramiz Raja up by his face. Something to pay attention to, as this one is just run off the face of the bat down to deep third for a single. First run on the board.
Obviously, the reduction of overs. We've lost 30 deliveries, so 87 remaining, 3 down. And how does that perhaps play into the mindset of the Houston Stars batting lineup? A team that has been struggling for results, and all of a sudden, because of the bad weather, they know they have to come in against a team like Kingsmen in a reduced format, so less time to really get your innings off and running. What can that be mentally after this ball for a batsman?
Lovely looking drive into the covers for no run. I think when the game is compressed, it brings the two teams closer together. And you could make an argument as to who's the more talented side in terms of the names on paper. Kingsmen, I probably would give a slight edge there. But if you have a fewer number of overs, less length of time to play, then I think that compresses the game in such a way that just about anybody can win. And that's a lovely looking back cut. You don't see that back cut very often anymore, Matthew. Through the offside for 4.
Yeah, you're right. It's not a shot we see as often anymore, but when it is, as you saw there from Usman Khan, proper cricketing shot, elegant shot, that nicely placed through the gap, and the first boundary in the Houston Stars innings. Score moves up to 5 without loss.
First boundary indeed, I'll tell you. Something to pay attention to. Again, we're in the power play. The first 5 overs is the power play, so you have 1 less over, and you obviously, in terms of a 15-over match, you're playing with 30 fewer deliveries. And so you do have an urgency to sort of get things going very quickly. This again running down deep third, relatively straightforward shot, just angling it off the face of the bat, and that runs through all the way to the keeper. Down the way to deep third. That's a single to close things out here in the first. Off and running, the score is 6 without loss. So Matt, we're off and running, 6 without loss. New bowler now going to be coming from the highway. Bowling started at the highway end. This bowling is now going to be coming from the northern end of the ground, which is the forest end here in Prairie View. And this is Pawan Suyal.
Pawan Suyal, a player that would have had IPL experience a few years back. Would have been part of the Mumbai Indians around 2015, 2014, around there. So clearly a player with quite some credentials on his resume as he comes into the Houston Open for 2023, joining the Kingsmen. We saw how good the bounce was, the carry through to the keeper was for Samin Gul. Pawan Suyal will be looking to replicate that.
Left arm over the wicket. That's a little bit far outside the line of off stump, but umpire Jermaine Linda with his arms firmly by his side. Something to pay attention to, because first of all, it's a left armer. So there is additional angle being created going across the right-hander. But to your point, I'm really interested in seeing whether or not somebody who has the caliber of a Pawan Suyal is going to be able to get much out of this pitch. Next delivery. Good bit of cricket there. Just kind of, as we used to say in Jamaica, tip and run. Just drop it into the offside, take off for a quick single.
Yeah, and they'll need those. In the power play, obviously, with the field in, you'd like to really go over the infield and really capitalize on the field restriction. But one thing that is a bit difficult with the field in is the rotation of strike. So you'll have to have good feet. The running will have to be excellent once you're not really placing the ball as well. And as you see there, all it takes, especially on a smooth outfield like this, is to just a little tap and run, as you mentioned.
Other thing to pay attention to, it was very wet. Usually in the Houston area, you want to start playing around 10 o'clock or later. Anything late or anything earlier than that, there's usually a fair amount of dew. Look at this. Did he give it away? No, he gets away with it. Skies it towards long or mid-off rather, and they run through for a single. But looking, I think, to the point that you just made, you're looking to manufacture runs. And so you see the batter actually take a couple steps down to try to accelerate the scoring process.
Yeah, and as you can see the mindset looking to go up and over the infield. Good strategy, obviously, in the power play. In the end, all it brought him was a single, but still the mindset, a lot of the times, the mentality of the batters is clear.
Sliced off the face of the bat. So obviously with two good opening bowlers, two good solid bowlers in terms of their experience, in terms of their accuracy, you're not going to get very many freebies. So sort of what do you think that they can do, these stars, to sort of try to manufacture some runs? What do you think, what options are there?
Well, for a start, even in a 20-over game, much less in a 15-over game, it's highly important, especially as you mentioned, with the caliber of this bowling attack.
Oh, that ball sail across.
It's really important to get on the front foot early on, and that's what Usman Khan and Ali Rana will have to do, obviously without throwing their wicket away. They'll have to, the outfield is very quick. The outfield, smooth outfield, you will get runs along the ground. They'll have to run hard, they'll have to really find the gaps, and they'll have to get things moving early on. As you mentioned, 5 overs are gone. So right away, you've lost 5 extra overs of really trying to get yourself in, and especially with a bowling attack this capable, if you lose a couple early wickets, they'll be on you in a flash.
Last ball of the second over. Oh, big drive being essayed outside the line of off, but that top edge flies down to deep third for a single. So doing it in singles primarily, with the exception of 1-4. After 2, the score is 9 without loss. So Matt, 7 to 8 more balls to go in this innings, and only 9 runs on the board. And you're up against 2 relatively decent bowlers here. So there is a need to manufacture runs, because I'll tell you what is in the back of their mind. You see who's standing at second slip? That's Martin Guptill.
Yep.
And that man can score 150 runs by himself. so there's almost like a reverse scoreboard pressure. Say more about that in just a second. Oh, more of what you wanted to see there. Drop and run, even off the good balls. Look for opportunities to score runs.
Yeah, it's T20 cricket. It's actually 15-over cricket in this particular game. But as we see in T20 cricket, especially with a bowling lineup like this, there's not going to be many free deliveries, not many balls you can really pounce on and immediately know this is a bad delivery. So you've really got to run hard. You've really got to try to get shots, even off the good deliveries. Even if you get a few lucky edges at times, you've got to be mentally strong. You've got to be brave to play some shots, which we have seen from the Houston Stars. They just haven't gotten the results yet.
Oh, look at that delivery. Taking off from a length. Looking to be a little bit aggressive that time. Ali Rana coming down. And the good fast bowler bending his back and making sure that if you think about coming down, let's give you something else to think about. That short pitch delivery sailing over Rana and over attempted pull.
Yeah, looking to fight fire with fire there, Ali Rana. Looking to match up to the short ball, taking a few steps down the track. In the end, all he connected was with the air.
Oh, look at this. This is a good piece of timing. We'll not get 4 for it, but I think there might be a lesson there for Ali Rana. Instead of, you can be aggressive, or you can score quickly from 2 different ways. You can actually try to charge at the bowler and try to pull him, or you can just simply time the ball and hit it into the gap and get a couple.
Yeah, much better shot, much calmer shot from Ali Rana on that occasion. And ironically, that was a shot that got him more runs.
Exactly.
Still a good start this for Kingsmen. Only 12 on the board, 2.5 overs in.
Oh, what a great delivery, slanting across, and there's the finger. It took a second, umpire Sandeep Gondalekar wanting to make sure, but I think he made the right decision there. Certainly heard a noise, and the keeper and the bowler going up immediately. Slip joined them in the appeal, and umpire Gondalekar raises his finger. The first wicket falls, Matt. Scores 12 for 1.
Peach of a delivery this from Anwar Ali. What a delivery that is. Looking at that again, Ali Rana, there's not much he could have done about that one. And through it went. So the first wicket falls, Ali Rana has to depart. It's 12 for 1 for the Houston Stars.
Boy, some things that you look for. You look for clues as to whether or not the batter knows that he edged it. And typically, if you edge it, you turn around quickly to see if it goes to the keeper. This time, Ali Rana, if you could see the replay on that, actually keeps his head forward, does not turn around and look sort of, you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Look at this. Look at the replay coming up. Tried as much as possible to not give the umpire any ideas as to whether or not he edged that. So he certainly edges it there. Then looks straight back down the pitch, wondering, hoping, and then he sees the left hand of umpire Gondalekar going up. So hard luck for him. First wicket goes 12 for 1. So Anwar Ali, we didn't announce the change in bowling, but he's certainly a good bowler and generates a fair amount of pace from a relatively short run-up. If I had to judge, it doesn't look like his run-up is anything more than about 10 or so yards, but he generates certainly a good amount of pace. And oh, by the way, in the 15-over format, each bowler is only limited to 3 overs. So as a captain, you're going to have to be very careful about the rationing of your overs. And the new batter in now is Ahmed Butt. Good delivery and defended on the back foot by Ahmed Butt from the Houston area. Very accomplished long-term or long-lasting player here in the Houston area. Accomplished off-spinner and a solid top-order batter. And he is coming in with the side at just a spot of bother. The scoring rate is only 4.8. Make that 4.5 after that last ball. And certainly with some work to do. So there's that good bowling again, Matt. Not able to get the ball away, not able to find any runs at the moment. And in fact, that is the end of the over. So after 3, tight looking over, and certainly a successful one from the standpoint of the wicket that was taken. After 3, 12 for 1. Coming back into action here at the DAFA News Houston Open 2023. This is Pawan Suyal to bowl his second over. First over only going for 3 runs. And he's looking to start here, looking to continue to squeeze the screws. Not much scoring taking place right now, Matt.
Yeah, it's been a great start with the ball and in the field for the Kingsmen lineup.
What a great delivery. There's the left arm over angle I was talking about, slanting across the right-hander and zipping through to the keeper. That ball smacking into Ramiz Raj's gloves.
And what's the point of having a good surface if you're not going to utilize it for Kingsmen? We've seen the amount of pace, the amount of bounce, the carry on this surface through it to the keeper. Look at how far back the keeper is standing. And we've already seen 3 top quality paces being utilized in this power play already by Kingsmen.
Well, you mentioned about the fact that there was you wanted to see how much pace there was going to be in the pitch. The first over that was bowled by Pawan Suyal, he bowled very full, so it wasn't you didn't really have an opportunity to see the amount of bounce. A couple of times in this over already, he's already bent his back and tested not necessarily the middle of the pitch, but from a good short of a length type delivery. You see the carry and the bounce that is in this wicket. That's going to be something to pay attention to. He's already keeping them quiet. Oh my goodness, look at that again. That angle slanting across the right-hander. And as of right now, Usman Khan not really having any clue about these deliveries.
Yeah, that's the experience, as I mentioned, for my IPL players, Pawan Suyal. And you're seeing it on display here. The left arm angle as well makes it even worse for Usman Khan out there in the middle. Hasn't been able to find an answer as yet.
Oh, absolutely amazing bowling so far. 2 balls remaining here in the 4th. Now, just for the first time, strays a little bit in terms of his line going down the leg side. And thankfully for Usman Khan, he gets down to the other end where he can think about things. And Ahmed Butt is tasked with facing this last ball from the 4th over. 1 run coming from the over so far. So scoring rate 3.39. We mentioned a much more compressed match. You would expect in a compressed match that the scoring rate would be quicker. I think the exact opposite has happened. With just 1 ball remaining. Ahmed Butt taking strike now. Lovely looking drive that may not have the legs to get all the way to the boundary, but they'll get a couple. And that's a good piece of work in the deep. But more to the point, things have slowed down a little bit. You're not going to want to see that if you are the Houston Stars. 15 for 1, they have some work to do.
So it's 10 overs? Okay. That's really to me, but mentally wise, it's okay.
Matt Anwar Ali about to take the ball to bowl his 2nd over, 2nd of 3 maximum. Bowling now to Usman Khan, 9 from 14. Ahmed Butt at the other end, 2 from 3. And this one sailing through to the keeper for no run. So I asked the question a couple of overs ago, when you're looking to manufacture runs, what sort of things can you do? Do you think at some point you see a scoop come out? Fine leg is inside the circle. Do you maybe step to the offside and scoop one, see if you can scoop one over his head? What sort of things would you be looking at trying to do to sort of manufacture some runs?
Play to your strengths. So, I mean, who am I to say that? So far, it hasn't quite been working out.
Oh, boy. Looking for the big shot. And again, the pace of Anwar Ali, I think, is something that we cannot overstate, because he dug that one in short, and it actually ricocheted off of the bicep of the batter is what it looked like. See him rubbing the shoulder there, but again, not able to get that ball away.
Yeah, Anwar Ali, this is a former Pakistani international as well, so another big overseas pacer for the Kingsmen lineup. Usman Khan, he's 9 of 16, he's hit a boundary already. He's looked to play some big shots. He's gotten a few edges that have helped him, but he hasn't been able to time it or really get hold of a lot of the shots as yet. But he's shown the mentality. He's not really made it look easy. He just hasn't been able to connect.
Slower delivery. Oh, look at this. A half-hearted appeal. Not really. I don't think there was much going for that appeal. From here, obviously, we're not directly in line, but it looked to be going down for me. But more to the point, yet another dot ball. You bring up an interesting point, because, yes, it's all well and good that there's a condensed game and we have to get on with the scoring. But if you're facing former Pakistani international bowlers, it's not going to be easy.
It isn't, and so far, it's one thing to have that experience. It's another thing to come to the United States and to show that quality. And so far, Anwar Ali, Pawan Suyal, Samin Gul, they've showed that quality for sure. Anwar Ali in particular, 1 for 3 from 1.5 overs.
Absolutely. Oh, wrapped on the pad, half-hearted appeal. Just for a second, umpire Gondolaker was raising his hand, I think, to change the score on his clicker, and it appeared just for that split second that he was raising the finger. And of course, Usman Khan's heart would have been in his mouth at that point. But yet another dot ball, so with only 2 balls remaining in the power play, the power play will have only yielded 15 runs so far with 2 balls to go.
And not the start the Houston Stars would have liked.
Amazing to me how much pace he generates from such a short run-up. Slower delivery, that's well bowled and that's well played, but looking to steal a run, and that opportunity still does not present itself. I would say, I said a couple of overs ago, reverse scoreboard pressure. What I meant by that is you have to be thinking, we have to put a big score on the board because of how deep and how well the Kingsmen bat. And so you'd have to be thinking in a 15-over match, you want to be thinking somewhere around 140, 150, but they're nowhere close at this point. At this stage, their scoring rate projects to 62 runs. They need much more than that. And that scoring rate will have projected to exactly 60 at this point because they have 15 at the end of the power play. 15 for 1. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Prairie View Cricket Complex. Power play is done and dusted in this, the first match at Field 6 in the DAFA News Houston Open 2023 between the Houston Stars and the Kingsmen. Kingsmen won the toss and decided to bowl. Captain Hamad Azam has the ball in his hand at the top of his mark, bowling from the forest end. We're a third of the way through the innings, Matt. What do you think a sort of score is going to be that they're aiming for?
Well, 3 runs and over. We're already a third through the innings, so they'll have to really take this game perhaps in 3 parts. They haven't had a great power play. Now they'll have to push the scoring rate maybe up to like an 8, 9 and over for the next 5, and then for the final 5, really look to go if they have the wickets in hand. To really look to go big. Hamad Azam, quality pacer as well. Another pacer being introduced into the attack.
Well, pace has done the job so far, despite that first ball being outside, too far outside off stump for the liking of umpire Jermaine Lindo. That's the first extra for the day, which tells you how well the bowling has been so far, how good the bowling has been so far. Hamad Azam, oh, look at that. Again, maybe not quite the same angle as the left-hander, bowling from over the wicket, but a bit of movement away from the batter. And that ball misses the outside edge through to Ramiz Raja.
Yeah, and you mentioned just the 1 extra, and when you look at the experience and the quality in the bowling lineup, you don't really expect there to be a lot of extras. Experienced bowlers don't bowl a lot of extras because you know in a regular T20 game, much less a 15-over game, 1 run can make or break a match sometimes.
Oh my goodness, yes. Bang! That is a shot of authority, but he picks out the man in the deep at mid-wicket. That is the first shot that I think has been played in anger, apart from a 4, which was in the first over of the match. But that was a good-looking stroke by Ahmed, but ends up just getting a single for it, though, because outside the power play, you certainly have the opportunity to be a lot more defensive in your field settings. So you see a man here at deep, fine leg. That same fielder we just mentioned at deep mid-wicket. And then long on, long off, and a sweeper. Make that long on, mid-off. And the men in the deep are on the offside or cover and deep third. So you certainly have a much more defensive feel at this stage. So that sort of turns the screws from 2 different directions. You have a very good attacking bowling lineup, and you have a defensive field. So a lot of work to do here for the 2 batters. Azam now clipping this one just behind square. It's going to be a single down to deep fine leg. You mentioned 3 runs and over. That's exactly the pace that they're on right now. And so you're only looking at another 56 more balls to go here, Matt. So make hay while the sun shines. It is, if they score from here, 6 runs and over, run a ball gets them to 104. If they absolutely go bonkers and get to 10 runs and over, they get to 161. I think they'll be targeting somewhere closer to 161 than 100. But in any event, they're very far away from that right now.
Yeah, with the start they've had, it'll be difficult for them to probably make it a realistic expectation to go 10 runs and over from here. This is another less than 10 run over so far here from Hamad Azam. He's only gone for 4 with 1 ball to go. So maybe you mentioned 104 and 161. Maybe probably find right in the middle of that, maybe somewhere around 135, 140 is probably a more realistic estimate from here. And even still, that'll take some batting to get to. As we see another single, that one just delicately placed down to the fielder. 5 runs coming off that over. It's 20 for 1 after 6.
20 for 1 after 6 overs. Jesus. Yeah, I love it too, but these guys, you see, this is thing. They can't conform. T20 is a one match format, and T10 is a whole different thing.
We had all pace before this over. We're about to start the 7th over, and the man with the ball in his hand is a man who was drafted #1 in the Major League draft several weeks ago at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. Former India U19 player, Harmeet Singh. What are your thoughts about Harmeet?
Quality. I mean,
in a word, yes.
There's many words. There's many words you can use to describe Harmeet Singh, but quality, consistent, match winner are certainly some terms that come to mind when you think of this man. And I'm sure that's exactly what the major league teams were thinking. This man, the #1 overall pick, and rightly so, in my opinion. We'll see him with ball in hand. I'm not sure if we'll get to see him with the bat, with the way the Kingsmen batting lineup is and the way this first innings has gone. But a quality all-rounder, as you mentioned, the India U19 experience as well. I think he would have had some bit of IPL experience in the early days, of the early years of the IPL. So spin for the first time. They've probably, you'd feel, have to bring them on at some point. And with 6 overs done, perhaps now, especially with the score only at 20 for 1, you feel it's set up very nicely for Harmeet Singh to really come in and get a good grip, get a good amount of spin on the ball here, especially with the 2 batters already under some pressure.
I'm interested in seeing how well he bowls on this pitch. A very grassy pitch. I'll say a little bit more about that shortly, because in looking at the pitch beforehand, my sense was that it was hard, but it was also very grassy. So my sense is that the pace bowlers would have enjoyed bowling on this a little bit more than the spinners would. But Harmeet generally gets much of his movement through the air, gets a lot of drift from that left arm over or left arm around angle. So he's always going to be somebody to pay attention to, because he's so deadly accurate that he doesn't necessarily need a lot of turn off the pitch to be effective and to be economical. So something to pay attention to.
Usman Khan is on 12. However, he's faced 24 deliveries to get there. It's been a struggle for him, as it's been as a whole for the Houston Stars. We see another single being placed here. So at the moment, just perhaps milking Harmeet Singh, trying to see him out, trying to get the runs along the ground. As we see Ahmed Butt comes into strike.
Ahmed Butt 5 from 7. Oh, what a great delivery. The left armer has that ball pitch and just turn a touch, just a little bit. Martin Gupta, the first slip, will be interested in that type of a delivery. In the air and gone. Simple catch. That pressure building finally means that the batters do something to effectively manufacture a wicket, and that was because of the pressure being built. Ahmed Butt just not able to keep that one down, and the simplest of catches going to cover. Score is 23 for 2, Matt.
A dismissal to unfortunately sum up the first 7 overs here for the Houston Stars. Look at that, just simple catch. And just like that, Harmeet Singh right into the game. His first 5 balls in, he's picked up a wicket. So Ahmed Butt goes for 5, 23 for 2, the Houston Stars.
Oh, you see the reaction there from Ahmed Butt, throwing his head to the heavens, just kind of wondering how it was that he could have played so far out in front of his body, because the coaches will tell you, let the ball come to you. When you go reaching for the ball, that's generally where you get in trouble against a spinner. And with fielders in close, it's going to be difficult to keep that ball down. And so committing the cardinal sin that time, Ahmed Butt not able to keep that ball down, and the simplest of catches offered to cover. New batter now is going to be Saqlain Haider, captain. Saqlain Haider, it will be interesting to me, and I just realized this. Saqlain Haider, who plays shots all around the wicket, who has every shot in the book, but absolutely loves the reverse sweep. In fact, he hits that reverse sweep as powerfully as most people hit a conventional sweep. I'm wondering if they brought him, or if he promoted himself in this position because of the fact that Harmeet Singh is now bowling.
I think that's certainly one reason, but I think at this point, at 23 for 2, with already in the 7th over, you've got to give it your best shot. You've got to send your best guys out there at the moment, and Saqlain Haider, certainly one of the more experienced, one of the more top quality players in this batting lineup.
Swept away into the deep. Oh my goodness, a sitter put down at deep mid-wicket. They'll get 2, but Harmeet Singh should have been on a hat trick. Straight to deep mid-wicket, straight in, straight out.
Huge chance that cannot afford to drop those. You saw the sweep already pulled out first ball, the slug sweep. And look at that. Easiest of chances spilled, and that's Saqlain Haider. That's a man you want to see walking back first ball. Will he make them pay? We already see the way he's gone out to bat. We already see how he's going to carry on. 25 for 2 after 7.
Oh my goodness, that is Pawan Suyal out there. My sense was that he was very casual. And if we have a chance to look at that again, he just sort of assumed that it was going to go in, it was going to stick, and didn't really necessarily get directly in line with the line of the ball. Just sort of casually tried to catch it beside himself, and ended up dropping what was really a very catchable type of catch. Bang, in the air. Does he have another chance? No. That was pulled away massively. This is going to be Hamad Azam back into the attack for his second over. And Usman Khan, who's been there for a while now, 13, make that 14 from 27, is going to have to start taking the bull by the horns. He has to start looking for ways to manufacture runs, along with his captain, Saqlain Haider. Field now changing around a little bit for the left-hander.
Yeah, you've got a lefty out there. Was just going to make mention. Now they've got that right-left combination with him and Usman Khan. We've already saw the type of player Saqlain Haider is in one ball, just to go after Harmeet Singh first ball like that. Takes a lot of courage. Good delivery on that occasion from Hamad Azam. With 46 deliveries remaining, we've flown through this innings already. Saqlain Haider is certainly a man you'd probably want to stay for that 46 deliveries and look to score and score well, which we know he can. The Houston Stars will need a big performance from him from this stage, you feel.
I don't think there's any question. And Saqlain Haider, of course, playing for the Houston Hurricanes in the minor leagues, so knows these conditions very well. Looking down the leg side, tries to pull this one away. It may be wide. See what the umpire signals here. Umpire, in fact, it's just a bye. So I started saying that Saqlain Haider plays for the Houston franchise here in the Houston Hurricanes in the minor leagues, knows the conditions, is familiar with the area, and so you feel that he may be the one to take the bull by the horns and actually get something going here. At this stage, we're only another 45 balls to go.
Well, Usman Khan, you mentioned how unconventional at times Saqlain Haider can be. What about that from Usman Khan? He didn't get anything out of it, but at this point, you've got to try some freaky shots at times.
It's the intention for me. I mentioned earlier about fine leg being inside the circle, and I wondered whether or not a scoop shot would come out at some point. That's exactly what Usman Khan was trying to do there. I don't think he'll try that again anytime soon, though. Oh, more conventional this time, going straight down the ground. They'll at least get couple. Yep, that's all they'll get. Good-looking, aggressive shot. And I'll tell you, they are now starting to feel the urgency. You get the sense that all of a sudden they know that things need to start happening. And again, the man who's been there the longest, Usman Khan, I think is starting to feel the pressure of being able to take this game over. At least, if not take the game over, at least inject more urgency into it. With just 2 balls, make that 1 ball remaining now in the 7th. Make that the 8th, my apologies. Great delivery by Hamad Azam. Dug out to short mid-off. That is the end of over number 8. They continue turning the screws here. And all of a sudden, 29 for 2 means that there's only 42 balls remaining in which they need to score a ton of runs, I feel. 29 for 2. We'll be right back. Harmeet Singh to continue. Now you see that fielder is at deep backward square leg because that's where the conventional sweeps would go. But I'll tell you right now, you also see a fielder going to deep cover because when he plays, in fact, I mentioned earlier about a reverse sweep. Sometimes he doesn't reverse sweep. Sometimes he switches completely around and hits as a right-hander. And of course, being able to do that with the ability to power it away to what is for the left-hander deep cover, but ends up being a shot to deep mid-wicket because he's so good at that type of shot. Keep an eye on that. And he tries the exact same thing there. Misses it. In fact, it comes off a thick under edge, runs close to the boundary. They'll get a couple, but look for Saqlain Haider playing those types of shots because he has to manufacture ways to score, and I think he knows that.
Yeah, it's everything you've said about Saqlain Haider. He's already pulled out and he's only faced 4 deliveries. Saqlain Haider, clearly a man who wants to establish some sort of dominance. Style points already goes to him.
Well, he is a very difficult batter to bowl to. There's no question. And he always scores at a very high strike rate. Not only does he score at a high strike rate, he keeps you on your toes as a fielding side because he literally has power shots 360 degrees. So you always have to be careful where your fielders are, and how he scores is always going to be something that's hard to get a hold of. Ooh.
Well, we mentioned left-right combinations between 2 batters out in the crease. We'll probably have to mention a left-right combination with Saqlain Haider alone.
This is absolutely true. The one-man left-right combination. This is dropped to short third, and they'll get a quick single. But boy, you get the sense that singles alone are not going to do it for you from here. 32 runs are on the board. Again, from this stage where they are right now, 32 for 2 with 3 balls remaining here in the 9th. That projects to a score of 74. 10 and over from here gets you to 145. 8 and over gets you to 123. A run a ball is exactly 100. That's a good delivery right in the block hole, not affording Saqlain Haider the opportunity to play any of those unconventional shots. Harmeet Singh equal to the task. Looking to close this over out strongly now. Oh, Peel looking to sweep, and no, not given. But yes, you absolutely see and feel the pressure that's being built. A good over by Harmeet Singh, only 3 runs coming from it. And at the end of 9, the score is 32 for 2. Daffy News Premier or Houston Open 2023. This matchup in the group stages between the Houston Stars and the Kingsmen. The Kingsmen winning the toss, choosing to bat first. And now this is going to be a change in bowling from the highway end. The forest end. Samin Gul, who opened the bowling, bowled one over from the highway end, but is now switching around, bowling from the northern end of the ground, the forest end. And he's going to be bowling to Usman Khan, 17 from 32. There's the scoop shot being attempted again. And once again, Matthew, they're looking for ways to manufacture some runs, but it's not working out for them right now.
Yes, I mean, Gul, we would have seen him open the ball. Only got the one over. We would have seen the likes of Pawan Suyal and Anwar Ali at the top. Expect them to come back again, obviously, in the death overs. Especially in a 15-over game. They've come by very quickly, the power play and the final five. Make up 2/3 of the game.
You're absolutely right. And I think Hamad Azam has done a good job of sort of rationing the overs so far. Each of his strike bowlers has 1 over at least remaining. So that's something to pay attention to. And this is just run off the face. They get a single. My question for you, young Mr. Achaibar, is now that you are on strike and you are Sakleen Haider, who can be unconventional as with the best of them, do you try something unconventional against the #1 bowler in the side, or do you just sort of try to pick up singles in this over?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what Sakleen Haider has up his sleeve. I cannot speak for him, but what I will say is that he is the man that really has to bat throughout the rest of the innings here. There's 5 overs left after this one, and he's really got to find a way to stick around. The Houston Stars need him to last the full 15. If whatever way it feels best for him, if he feels he can get the runs on the board, even if it's very risky the way he goes about his business, then fine. Anything to get that scoring rate up to around 8, 9, 10 and over for the final 5 overs is what Usman Khan and Sakleen Haider will both really have to work with. But he'll have to keep in mind, Sakleen, that he's really the man that you think has to carry the fight here for the Houston Stars.
Usman Khan, 18 from 34. Short delivery, that's got to be a wide. Yep, there's a wide signal coming from umpire Sandeep Gondalekar, confirmed by the standing umpire. Now, just, every once in a while we have, and certainly on Thursday, or make that Wednesday's broadcast, we had a number of people, Matt, who were watching cricket for the first time and who wanted to know some of the terminology and some of the rules. Well, that ball bounced above the head of the batter. And if the ball bounces above the head of a batter, not necessarily in his batting stance, but more in his normal standing position, then that is deemed by the umpires to be a ball that is not, cannot fairly play a shot to it, and it's deemed to be wide. That is a bouncer, but it's a more appropriate height and pulled out into the deep for a single.
So 2 deliveries left in this over. Sakleen Haider will be the man to face at least one of them. Yeah, maybe not as much risk maybe not as much unconventional shots as he probably would like. Had he maybe gotten a better start, you'll probably see a lot more, but I think at the back of his mind, he is thinking that he's got to find a way he doesn't get out anytime soon.
Slow, loopy, full toss. Good looking delivery there in terms of the effectiveness of it. You just, on its own, you can't say it was an excellent delivery, but when you're accustomed to high pace coming at you, that change of pace can sometimes be much more effective than it otherwise would have been. And all you want from it as a bowler is to get a dot ball. So just 1 ball remaining now in the 10th. You're at 31 balls remaining here for the rest of the innings, Matt. And it's almost starting to be that time where you need to be more desperate with your approach. Yorked him absolutely right in the block hole. What a great delivery. And there's not a lot you can do with those types of balls, Matt.
Beautiful ball that from Samin Gul. Bowling to Sakhalin Haider, you've got to really get things right. And look at this. Samin Gul. Beautiful delivery that to dismiss Sakhalin Haider, as you mentioned. Not much you can do with a delivery like that.
Looking at that replay again, if we can see it one more time. Sakhalin Haider exposing all 3 stumps. Look at this. He steps away to the leg side. All 3 stumps exposed. Maybe I'm thinking he was expecting something he could open up and play over the offside. But that Yorker targeted leg stump, knocked back the leg stump. And Sakhalin Haider, unfortunately for him, has his team slip deeper into the mire. Scores 37 for 3. So is it quite desperation time yet, Matt? Just another 30 runs, make that 30 deliveries left. 37 runs on the board. Batters are at the crease now are Abdul Rahman and Usman Khan. Usman Khan obviously opened the batting and has been there for the entirety of the innings. But I guess that you're going to see a bit of urgency being generated at this stage.
You have to. You have to. 30 deliveries remaining. Run a ball will only get them to 67. So at this point, yeah, Usman Khan has been there since the start. Abdul Rahim Khan now at the crease will have to get going immediately. They'll really have to. They'll have to push for something here, because 37 for 3 with only 5 deliveries to go, especially you make mention of the quality of this Kingsmen bowling lineup, is not going to let up at all.
Absolutely not. This is Hassan Khan into the attack. Left armer bowling around the wicket, so a different version of Harmeet Singh, if you will. Not maybe quite the same quality in terms of talent as Harmeet Singh, but certainly somebody who has the ability to turn the ball away from the right-handers. And again, you see at first slip, Martin Guptill coming into that spot for that ball that turns and misses or threatens the outside edge. Oh, not going where he was looking to play that one, looking to sweep that one away through backward square leg. Somehow it ends up trickling to backward point.
So Hassan Khan has started well. The 6th bowler being introduced by Kingsmen. Bit of an interesting one, given the 5 they used have all been very successful. So it will be interesting to see which bowler will not be bowling his full quota of overs today.
What a great point. You're absolutely right. And does that bowler feel hard done by? You know what? The Pacers have done an excellent job.
Yep.
Essentially, you have similar types of bowlers with Harmeet Singh and Hassan Khan. Oh, look at that ball. Whiz by past the outside edge. The quicker one. Are we about to have a maiden over bowled in the 11th over of a 15-over match?
Well, we made mention how good the first 5 bowlers were and how it was an interesting sight to see a 6th bowler. Hassan Khan is making a case for himself. Maybe 1 over isn't even enough for him.
Exactly.
Maybe they'll have to give him 1 more.
Exactly. Reverse sweep, gone! The pressure takes another wicket. A wicket maiden by Hassan Khan in his first over, bowling from the highway end. 37 for 4, Matt.
Usman Khan, we saw him attempt to play a lot of these shots. He never really got hold of any of them, and eventually his misery comes to an end. Looking to go again at this point. You've got to improvise. You've got to try something new. But in the end, another tame dismissal straight into the hands. And it's the 4th wicket down. Hassan Khan with a wicket maiden. 37 for 4 as Usman Khan walks back for 19.
Matt, I don't think there's any way that the captain would take off a bowler who just bowled a wicket maiden, would there?
Well, we'll find out. I'm not sure. I think Hassan Khan perhaps may have messed up the planning a little bit. Perhaps just looking to get an extra over in of the spinner. Now he's made a case for himself, saying, give me 1 more.
Well, look at this. Speaking of left-handed spinners, look where Harmeet Singh is about to bowl from. He's bowling now from the forest end, switching around, so a double left-handed spin attack, if you will. just looking back at the replay of that wicket, that ball actually turned appreciably. And it will be interesting to see whether or not you could potentially go the rest of the way with spinners. Obviously, you need to have one more, but there might just be a bit of spin trying to make itself prominent here. Harmeet Singh, oh, what a great delivery, threatening the outside edge again. I'll tell you what, this is not going to be easy. Obviously, you have to try to manufacture runs, but I don't think it's going to happen very easily. Another reverse sweep being attempted. They'll get a single, but boy, all of a sudden it's almost like trying to run a marathon while you're in the mud, Matt. It's a long way to go here.
Yeah, 22 deliveries remaining, 38 on the board, 4 wickets down. And the thing is as well, even if they do want to go all guns blazing for 22 balls, they've lost 4 wickets. They've lost their entire top 4, their more senior players, pretty much all back in the hut. So even still, you can't take perhaps as much risk anymore because of how many wickets you've already lost at the top order.
My goodness. So your batters are Shobi Khan and Abdul Ahad. Going over the wicket this time to the left-hander, Harmeet Singh.
Spinning a web, as they say.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely spinning a web, and this pair now contributing to a scoring rate that is well under 4 rather. Helped out a little bit there by the extra, but all of a sudden we're looking at a scoring rate of 3.3, which is not going to get it done. And there's a long way to go in this match, but it feels like one team has their foot firmly on the throat of the other.
So Shobi Khan is off and running. Hands things back over to Abdul Rahim Khan. We would have seen a switch hit already attempted in this over from him. 20 deliveries remaining. 3.43 the current run rate here by the Houston Stars. They're 4 down for 40.
Just another 2 balls remaining in at the 12th. So after this, we're looking at just 20 deliveries. Now make that 19 deliveries remaining in this innings. And Matt, just for fun, we can go through some permutations about projected scores. We'll do that after this ball. That's going to be single down to long on. So that is the end of yet another choking type of an over by Harmeet Singh. In fact, we'll go through those permutations after we take a quick break. 12 overs up, 41 for 4 is the score.
Because Cameron West pass already.
So Matt, if you wanted to get something close to 100 runs, you'd have to score at the rate of 8 and over. In other words, more than double your current scoring rate, with the top 4 still back in the pavilion, or already back in the pavilion, I should say. So the current run rate projects to a score of 6 to 8. Woefully, for me, inadequate. Oh, now we have the answer to our question as to whether or not you take a batter off or a bowler off after he bowled a wicket maiden. Answer to that question is a resounding no.
Yeah, Hassan Khan has bowled 7 deliveries. He's got a wicket and he hasn't given up a run as yet.
Reverse sweep. Oh my goodness. If they had gone to the other end, if they'd gone to the bowler's end, that wicket would have fallen. There would have been a run out by half the length of the pitch, Shobi Khan. There's no question. And times like those is where you'd like to have somebody in the bowling side say, yell the end that the fielder should throw to. It was marginal. It could potentially have been marginally close at the keeper's end. Absolutely would have been run out at the other end.
We've seen he's faced 6 balls so far as Abdul Rahim Khan. He's batted as a right-hander for 3 of them. He's pulled out the switch hit for 3 of them. So I wonder if maybe he's batting the wrong side. But that was the first run given up off of Hassan Khan. Probably he should have feel that shouldn't have been a run.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, it had that throw gone to the right end, it would not have been a run, and there would have been another wicket. This next delivery, that's a good-looking shot. Up and over the top on the offside, but should just be 1. Do they come back for 2? No, they don't. That is a good piece of work in the deep. That fielder sprinting across and making sure that you only score 1 run. So that is another way of building pressure when you have the fielders in the field supporting you as a bowler. Next delivery, boy, looking to almost premeditated shot where he's not playing the length of the ball. He's playing the shot he wanted to play and missing out on the attempted sweep. Next delivery, left armour from around the wicket and a great Yorker. Good bowling here by Hassan Khan. Really helping to turn the screws, and I don't think at this rate that you can even continue to entertain thoughts of 100. Right now you just want to give your bowlers something to realistically aim at. Just 1 ball remaining here, 44 for 4. Slower through the air, and he's early through the shot. This is excellent, excellent bowling by Hassan Khan. His second over only yields 2 runs, make that 3 runs. He's already taken a wicket, and only 30, make that 12 balls to go. The rest of this innings, the score is 44 for 4. So much earlier I had said if you're playing in a 15-over match with a much more compressed time frame and more sense of urgency, you could make the argument that 140 or 150 is what you could be aiming at. They're obviously going to end up somewhere around 100 runs short of that sort of a number. But how do you, as a fielding side, knowing that you're right now going to be asked to go into bat in a few minutes, you've done the hard part in sort of restricting the team that's batting. And I'll finish my question after this first delivery. Yorker length, beautiful ball, played into the mid-wicket area. They should get 2 if they run hard. Yep, they come back for the second, and they'll get there relatively easily. So my question is, how do you approach this? Let's say it's going to be a target of somewhere around 70 or 75 runs. Maybe not even that high. Maybe, let's say 75, just for argument's sake. You have a very deep, strong batting lineup. How do you approach it? Do you try to go out there and knock those runs off in 6 or 7 overs? Or do you treat it like a batting practice? How do you approach that?
Well, there's 2 names that I'll mention. And I think when you hear those 2 names, I think the answer is pretty self-explanatory. Shahjeel Khan and Martin Guptill. And ironically, Martin Guptill, I believe, batted at 3 in the last game. I think Ramiz Raja opened the batting and did quite well. So maybe I'll throw Ramiz Raja in there as well. I think for the Kingsmen, yeah, I think the answer is pretty obvious. When you've got destructive players like that, I'm sure they'll have to go out there and must be thinking to themselves, run rate. In a tournament like this, sometimes run rate can be very crucial in terms of where you place on a table. So I think they'll be looking to get this done in a flash, depending on the target.
Slower delivery, whizzing past the outside edge. So, Matt, I tend to every once in a while like watching horror movies. Do you know the horror movie I watched last night? A replay of Martin Guptill, 237 not out against West Indies in 2015 in the World Cup. This man actually hit a 6 that bounced off of the roof of the stadium. He's a tremendous hitter, can play shots obviously all around the ground, has played cricket all around the world, and the fact that we have him playing here in this tournament, I think, speaks to the quality of this tournament. Good full toss, looking for the Yorker, ended up being a low full toss, but a swipe and a miss by the batter, not Shobi Khan, not able to get to it.
The thing is as well, 47 for 4 with 8 deliveries remaining. Just the amount of confidence in this Kingsmen lineup as well, knowing that the bowlers have done themselves such a great job in terms of taking wickets. Just that momentum going into that second innings is something as well. The Houston Stars will certainly be going in there feeling, obviously it hasn't been their day so far. Not an innings they'd like to reflect on.
Right.
8 deliveries remaining unless they can get something really special off of this 8.
Skyer, who wants it? Deep mid wicket is there, and he takes it easily. So the 5th wicket goes down, and you mentioned the screws being turned. Yet another screw turned here. Call it another nail in the coffin, if you will, for the Houston Stars. The 5th wicket is down. A simple catch taken at deep mid wicket, and that is the end of Shobi Khan. He goes for 2 from 7, and the Houston Stars are 47 for 5. So Matt, I may have gotten a little ahead of myself. I thought that was the last over, or the last ball of the over. In fact, there is one ball left now. Just looking at that replay, that is a good, clean catch taken in the deep. And you like to see when the ball stays in the air that long, how well it is judged. There's just a touch of wind coming in from the southwest. Matt, we can feel it coming in from over our left shoulder. So coming in from the southwest. And that would have played a role with that ball swirling. In fact, I was incorrect. That was the last ball of the over, was it not? No, this should be the last one. Full. Played into the leg side. They should get 2 if they sprint. Throw coming into the bowler's end, and they run through for the 2nd run. So that's a good sense of urgency. You like seeing that, but unfortunately, maybe too little too late. That now is the end of the 14th over. At the end of 14, the score is 49 for 5. So 6 balls remaining, and look at this. The one person, the one person who came in bowling so late, Hassan Khan, is actually going to bowl a full quarter of overs. He's going to bowl the 15th. Looking now to bowl to Abdul Ahad. Swipe and miss. This is about the 6th time that we've seen that type of shot played, and they're not making contact, and it certainly is to their detriment. Oh, that was always on the cards, was it not, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, dancing down the track, a wild swing from Abdul Rahim, and quick work for the wicketkeeper. That too easy. It's all coming too easy here for Kingsmen. Another one goes down, 6th one down. It's 49 for 6, the Houston Stars. Abdul Rahim Khan walks back, swung and missed a few times, and on that time, just dancing down the track, and Hassan Khan, all he's got to do is get it right, and in the end, an easy stumping for the keeper.
Boy, looking at that replay again, that ball turned appreciably. That angle, look at this delivery. Look at this ball pitch on a length and turn, slanting in from around the wicket, but then it bites and turns. Good work by Roddy and the crew in the production area to get us that replay, because I can tell you that this pitch has shown to be a boon for both pacers and spinners. And so 3 deliveries make that 2 deliveries into the last over. We have a wicket already. Swipe and a miss. Is it possible, Matt? Is it possible that we have a bowler who bowls in a spell of 3 overs 2 wicket maidens?
Well, I was going to say surely not. And then Taha Saeed, the new man, did the same thing we saw Abdul Rahim Khan do. Danced down the track, missed everything, and through it goes to the keeper, and once again takes the bails off. So Hassan Khan has bowled 4 deliveries. And yet again, another stumping. So
What?
the 7th one down, Saeed goes without scoring.
What did it there was the line, because this one didn't turn quite as much as the 2 deliveries ago, but the line was so far outside the line of off that in dancing down the wicket, Taha Saeed could not exactly reach it. And then again, a pretty regulation stumping there by Ramiz Raja. Ramiz Raja really good with the ball, with the gloves. It's certainly one of those players who, as they say, is good either in front of or behind the stumps. And he made really quick work of that stumping. So now this is going to be Rohan Dhawan, who is going to have to be asked to somehow prevent Hassan Khan from bowling 2 wicket maidens. And look at this, 1 ball remaining in his spell. If this is a dot ball, he will have bowled 2 wicket maidens out of 3. This is incredible bowling. In the air, is it going to be a catch? No, Harmeet Singh can't quite get to it. But what a brilliant over, what a brilliant spell by Hassan Khan. 1 run coming from that over, the last over of the innings, and they end at a score of exactly 50. The Kingsmen, after having been asked to bat, a pretty, I would say, underwhelming performance with the bat for them, courtesy of some really good bowling, Matt.
Yeah, it just hasn't clicked for the Houston Stars at all. Getting to the 50 mark right at the end of the innings, but Hassan Khan, it's funny how it was a bit underwhelming that he gave up 1 run in an over. I think that speaks to how good Hassan Khan has bowled. We were all kind of disappointed for him giving up 1 run in the final over on the final ball of the innings.
In the final over, my goodness, such an excellent, excellent spell bowled by Hassan Khan. And it therefore means that obviously we have a really quick turnaround here. That first innings took 1 hour and 8 minutes, 3 minutes longer than the umpires were aiming for. So you can bet that both of these umpires will be looking to get things going as quickly as possible here. So just a really quick look at the scorecard. In fact, we'll get that information as soon as we can. Though there we have it on the screen. Samin Gul was the best bowler for me, 3 in terms of the number of wickets taken. Nope, my apologies. Hassan Khan. How could we possibly miss that? 3 overs, 1 maiden, should have been 2, and 4 runs, 3 wickets. So easily the best bowler on offer. And Samin Gul was also one of the support bowlers who helped turn the screws. So big picture, 51 runs needed from 15 overs at the rate of 3.4 and over. We'll take a short break and we'll be back for the chase. In the meantime, we'll just take that short break. See you shortly. don't think we're going to have 15 overs worth of action here, Matt. 50 is the target that the Kingsmen need to overhaul, and you and I have already taken note of the fact that Sharjeel Khan and Martin Guptill, who are now stepping across the ropes onto the field of play, will be the ones opening the batting.
Two very destructive batters in their own right. Sharjeel Khan, Martin Guptill, both with previous international experience, and two ball beaters, especially seeing only 51 required for victory. I'm sure they'll be looking to capitalize on that. Really make a statement to the rest of the teams in this competition.
So, Matt, if you have 51 runs to chase, you have a couple of different options. You can go hell for leather, finish this thing in 3 overs, which, frankly, you and I would probably prefer. Or you can sort of use it as an extended opportunity, since there was no cricket yesterday, to have some experience or some practice with that ball coming onto the bat. What do you think your option would be here? You're looking to finish this game over with in 3 or 4 overs, or you're looking to take it deep just to be able to have your batters get their eye in?
It depends. I mean, I think perhaps probably a mixture of both. It is important that they use their time wisely out there in the middle. But with 51 required, I think you've got to really win the game first. And by winning the game, I mean if you can get to 20, 30 flying, obviously without losing any wickets, of course, obviously that should pretty much put the game to bed right away, as if it hasn't already, in a sense.
Right.
Once that's done, you can either push on, continue to finish the game, or, as you mentioned, try and look to get some practice in with maybe only about 20 or so runs once you reach to that stage.
Well, the imposing figure of Martin Guptill will be on strike to start with, and he's being bowled to by Abdul Rahim Khan.
So ready for the chase, Martin Guptill facing up to Abdul Rahim Khan. 51 is the magic number for Kingsmen.
Yeah. How much anime?
Abdul Rahim Khan. First run from the first delivery of the innings. Guptill just test match style, playing just a regulation on drive, just a punch drive down to deep long on for a single. Of course, we're inside the power play. And you'll note now that there is, with the power play, you're only obviously allowed 2 fielders outside. So it will be interesting to see with the left-right combination where those 2 fielders are. As of right now, they are wide or deep mid-wicket and long off. But in fact, now long off is coming in, long on going back. So you think there's going to be, from that angle, right arm around the wicket into the left-hander, probably bowling it middle and off, asking him to hit on the offside. Make that on the leg side, my apologies. That certainly was not a middle and off line. Too far outside off stump. And Sandeep Gandalekar raising the arms for the first time this inning.
Especially with 51 on the board, you cannot afford to bowl wides.
Oh my God, no.
Surely not.
Not that there's ever a good time to bowl wides, but you certainly don't want to do it when the only option is to bowl out the other side and you're only looking to try to defend 50 runs. That's just absolutely unforgivable. And right on cue again, Matt. Another ball well outside the line of off stump.
Yeah, and we saw how disciplined the Kingsmen were. They only gave up 4 extras, 3 wides and a bye. Now we've already seen 2 in this over already from Abdul Rahim Khan, and you feel for him it's probably even more of a sin, as we mentioned, given how quickly this chase can finish and how quickly the game can slip away from Martin with Martin Guptill and Sharjeel Khan out in the middle, and you don't have seemingly a lot of runs to really play with.
Just a bit of delay, just trying to get the logistics worked out. We're playing short-handed today in the support staff area. We're missing a scorer, so the score right now is being done by committee. And I think both of these umpires would prefer that that not be the case, just reading their body language. But we're good to go again. That's a very simple single. So in terms of the question that I asked you, it appears as they're actually taking the second option as opposed to the first. So it doesn't look like this match is going to be finished inside 3 or 4 overs like we thought was a possibility. But of course, the man with the bat in his hand on strike right now, that can always change. Swept powerfully. And I'll tell you what, that shot that we just saw was the start of my horror movie that I told you about from last night, because that shot that Guptill just played is the one that Marlon Samuels dropped when Guptill was on 4, and he scored another 233 runs. This is a scoop shot over his shoulder. I have not seen him play that shot very often, but it will go all the way for 4 down to deep fine leg. So you expect Guptill to power the ball somewhere between mid-wicket and mid-off. But this time he opens the playbook from the more modern versions of cricket, whipping it over his shoulder for 4. So just another 8, well, in fact, 9 runs on the board now. And 1 ball remaining in this. The first make that the, oh, a couple of wides, apologies. This goes big, and there's absolutely nothing subtle about that shot. On one knee, blasting it over deep backward square leg for his first 6. So it started out as a relatively soft or very quiet over, but all of a sudden you look up, there's 15 runs on the board.
This time he connected with it. We saw the previous delivery, didn't get anything on it. In fact, it was 5 wides. That time, got the elevation, got it all the way for 6. So just like that, we were making the point, maybe they took the second way, which is to just see it out. All of a sudden, they've got 15 off the first over with a ball to go. Wow.
Well, I sure am glad that you're paying attention, because I completely missed that. So 1 to go. And it will be interesting to see exactly how things change from here. Do you try to apply pressure? Do you do something different as a bowler? Do you try to maybe bowl a quicker one? And how quickly can you bowl to get the ball past Martin Guptill? All of these things will be in his mind. Tell you what, that's a moral victory. Guptill looking to play that one off the back foot through the offside. Just an under edge that does not result in a run. So minimal damage considering the extras and the free deliveries that were bowled. 15 without loss. So 15 without loss after 1. Not often that you see 15 runs come from the first over, and then only another 36 needed before the game is finished. You've almost gotten a third of the runs that you need in that first over, Matt.
Yeah, already not off to a great start for the Houston Stars. You feel the only way they were going to win this game realistically was you've got to get a wicket like within the first couple of deliveries. They'll have to get more than 1 wicket with the way this Kingsmen batting lineup is, and so far they haven't done that. They've already conceded 15. 36 more required. Shahjil Khan facing up to Tahas Saeed, I believe.
It's actually Aham Khan.
Yeah.
Aham Khan bowling right arm around the wicket, slanting that ball into Shahjil Khan. And just looking to force that one away on the offside and not getting anything to show for it. So a dot ball. You mentioned taking wickets. That certainly is the only way that you can win this game. And very honestly, you might as well just try to take those wickets, because you're not going to restrict them from scoring those runs. That's a single down the ground. So you're already looking at a situation where they only need another 35 runs to go. And I'll tell you what do you do here? How do you try to manufacture a run? Do you try to just go completely aggressive with the field settings, put catchers in place? Or do you hope to maybe just have a more defensive field and try to build pressure? Bang! Oh my goodness, nobody out there. Bounces once just before it gets to the wide mid-wicket boundary. Martin Guptill has had a look, seen a few deliveries. You get the sense that he now wants to get this game over with. 20 runs on the board, just another 31 to go.
No man move except for the fielder that had to go and retrieve it. One of those shots you just, as a fielder, you just put your head down and think to yourself, that's Martin Guptill for you. Nothing you can do about that once he gets into that zone.
Tell you what, Arham Khan, don't know if you noticed there, just kind of lost his run up right at the very last minute before he delivered. Went through with the delivery, but I think that might have to do with the almost nervousness of bowling to a batter of Martin Guptill's stature, because to the extent that you can, you want to bowl your best deliveries, but if you just got banged for 4 over mid-wicket, and knowing what he's capable of, that certainly would have an impact on the way that you bowl. Good-looking Yorker, played down the ground for a single.
So Guptill back on strike. He's on 12 of 6.
Guptill 12 from 6, and I'll tell you more. Go ahead. This last one was a single, right? The one before that was. Oh.
Gets it away, Martin Guptill ends the over with another boundary. 26 without loss. They're off to a flyer here, Kingsmen. Looking at that again, just tugging it through into the leg side. Getting the runs all along the carpet there, Martin Guptill, in addition to the 6 we would have seen him hit in the first over.
You got it now? Got it now? Okay, good. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, back up. Back here, Prairie View. Apologies for the slight interruption there, but we're off and running again. 26 without loss. After 2 overs, Matt, you're halfway through to your target. So this may yet be finishing 4 overs.
And we haven't seen the best of Shahjil Khan as yet.
This is Taha Syed, and Taha Syed is greeted with a 6. The very first delivery. Shahjil Khan, right on cue, Matt, comes dancing down. Oh, and it was a no ball at the same time. We missed that live. So a no ball and a free hit. So a ton of runs all of a sudden. Taha, unfortunately, overstepping, paying the price. And this is going to go not where Shahjil Khan was looking to play that shot, but he still gets 4 more. So a really expensive start to the over here for Taha Syed. 11 runs from 1 legal delivery, 14 more runs needed for victory.
Yeah, not a great start this at all from Taha Syed. Shahjil Khan getting into the action now. It feels this innings has just started, and it's come and gone so quickly. They only need 14 more to win.
Shahjil Khan choosing to not run for that. There's a bit of communication between him and Martin Guptill, which probably sounds something along the lines of, look, I need to take this one over. Scoop, good morning. Welcome to the chat. Looks like this might be a quick one. You're absolutely right. I think we're looking at probably another over and a half at best before this game is finished. But you still have to go through the process, and you know, as they say, all you need is one good ball if you're the bowler. So Taha Syed, oh my goodness, that is banged away over the top of mid-wicket for yet another 6. Unfortunately, this game may very well be finished, Matt, in the next couple of deliveries.
Shahjil Khan, look at this. Dragged down, pumped a long way back. And Shahjil Khan looking to finish things off. They need 8. Can they get that from 2 balls? With the way Shahjil Khan, if he can hit another one, it's possible.
Now they only need 7 as Taha Syed fires that one too wide outside the line of off stump. 18 already from this over. Boy.
The problem here as well is that chasing 51, we're only 3 overs in. We're not even a full 3 overs in, and Houston Stars have already given up 9 extras. So
Oh my goodness.
didn't help themselves at all in defending such a low total with the way they were bowling wides, and we saw the no ball that went for 6 to rub salt in the wound. So final ball in this over, 7.
Bang! Down the ground. The score is a level, Matt. Good night, goodbye after the next run that scores. The score is a level at 50. What a brilliant start, and I guess our opinion on whether or not they would have a different approach has shifted very much in the last couple of overs. It felt like they were being very conventional, but all of a sudden, Shahjil Khan, my apologies.
One more.
This definitely So Matt, the formalities of just needing one more run of any flavor.
I think the players are ready to go. After that 6, I think they were already starting to shake hands. I don't even think the Houston Stars want to really be out here in this blistering heat, and just seeing Shahjil Khan and Martin Guptill bat the way they are, knowing what the fate.
For what it's worth, absolutely the worst thing that you can do as a bowler from here on is to concede a single run. And it is played down the ground, easy as you like. That is the end of the match eventually when this ball settles. And there you see it. Helmet comes off, handshakes all around. A pretty convincing victory in the end. This game went exactly the way that you thought it would go, Matt.
Yeah, Martin Guptill getting the match-winning single in the end. As you can see, we haven't really seen the best of this Kingsmen entire batting lineup as yet. Martin Guptill, Shahjil Khan, enough to do the job on their own. Got a bit of help as well with some extras. An easy 10-wicket win, as you would expect with such a low score. Not much on the bowling card there at all for the Houston Stars. It's just been an unfortunate day for them.
Yeah, one of those days that you'd like to forget about if you're the Houston Stars. You were asked to go into bat, and you only put 50 runs on the board. And then the Kingsmen knocking those runs off in the small matter of 3 overs and 1 ball. That is the end of the match. So we're in for a full day's worth of cricket here. As we mentioned, we're making up for yesterday by playing covering 3 matches today. The next match, I believe, will be starting. It is now right now 11 o'clock our time, just before 11 o'clock our time, Central Time. So my suspicion is that around noon is when the second set of matches will start. So for now, signing off from the Prairie View Cricket Complex, Brian Walters along with Matthew Chaibar, and we'll find you here again in the next hour or so. Goodbye for now.